We'll allow a 10-minute recess for your witness to arrive, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Now, if the bailiff will please step to the bench.
What in the world is going on?
I wish I knew.
Come on, you don't think this woman really exists, do you?
I'd be very surprised if she does.
She can't exist. Elliott is lying. Elliott was at Margo Dorn's apartment that night.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know what's going on. This guy says he can produce this woman, huh? And right now, the only way to save our bacon is to remove all suspicion from Elliott Dorn. That is what you want, isn't it, to win this case? Listen.
Oh, my God. What's up?
Oh, the witness just arrived. Really? I didn't.
Mr. Nelson, is this your witness?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. The prosecution would like to call Miss Raven Swift to the stand.
Miss Raven Swift, please take the stand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
That'll be the first time.
I do.
State your name.
Mrs. Raven Alexander Jameson Swift.
Be seated.
Mrs. Swift, are you familiar with the defendant, Draper Scott?
Yes, I am. I know him very well.
What about the deceased, Margo Dorn?
No, I don't know her. I met her several times, but that's all.
But you do know her husband, Elliott Dorn.
Yes, I do.
How long have you known him?
About a year, maybe 2.
Oh, then you're friends.
Yes, friends.
Yes. Is it true that you have been out of the country for a while?
Yes, I've been out for about 6 months in England.
With friends?
Parents.
I see. And when did you come back to Monticello?
About 6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago?
Yes.
You didn't inform anyone? I mean, you didn't get in touch with any family or friends here in Monticello?
Not all of my friends, no.
Just Mr. Dorn?
Well, actually, it was an accident. I ran into Mr. Dorn, and I didn't want him to think I was snubbing him. I mean, actually, I didn't want to snub anyone, but I just wanted to be alone.
Why?
I just felt like it.
Why did you return to Monticello? I mean, any specific reason?
Well, I got bored with London, and I didn't like the weather. Does it really matter?
No, I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, do you remember exactly when you saw Mr. Dorn and under what circumstances?
I don't remember the exact date, but I know it was about a week before we got together.
Well, do you remember the exact date that you got together?
Yes, it was January 25th, the evening.
Are you aware of what else happened on January 25th?
Yes, I am. It was dreadful. But see, that's why I remember the exact date, because I remember waking up the next morning and hearing on the news that Margo Dorn was murdered or whatever. And I remember thinking that I was with Mr. Dorn at the same time that this terrible thing was happening.
You didn't feel any remorse about that?
Remorse?
No guilt?
Well, I was having dinner with a friend. I mean, I was just catching up on news about my family and friends. I don't see any reason to feel remorseful or guilty.
So that's all you were doing, just having dinner with Mr. Dorn?
Do I have to answer that question the way it's phrased?
How would you like me to rephrase it?
Elliott Dorn and I were having dinner on the evening of January 25th, and that's all I care to say about it.
Well, where did this dinner take place? Can you tell me the name of the restaurant?
Yes, it was the Hotel Bremen.
The Bremen? Where's that?
It's on Park and Division.
Division? That's awfully far to go to have dinner, isn't it? That's almost to the edge of town.
Yes, but it's not very far from me. You see, I was staying there.
I see. So you invited Mr. Dorn to have dinner with you in the hotel dining room?
Mr. Dorn and I had dinner to have a long chat about family and friends.
Can you prove that this dinner took place?
You think I came here to lie?
Please, just answer the question.
Yes, of course. I have here a charge slip for the dinner that was signed by Mr. Dorn, and if you'll look, you'll see there's a date stamped on it.
January 25th? As you can see, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this establishes the alibi for Mr. Dorn. Thank you. And thank you. No more questions.
Mr. Carr, do you wish to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. Counselor, may I see that receipt, please?
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Mrs. Swift, first, let me welcome you back to Monticello.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
On direct examination, you said you had been back in Monticello for 6 weeks and that you visited Mr. Dorn to catch up on the news of your family. Didn't it occur to you that you could catch up with that family news by visiting your husband and your baby? How opportune for Mr. Dorn.
Well, I'm very glad that Mr. Dorn and I were together that evening so that you couldn't possibly accuse him of...
Accuse him of what? Killing his wife?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm merely trying to have the witness amplify her own statement.
Objection overruled.
Well, Mrs. Swift, is that what you think might have happened?
Some people do have nasty minds.
Yes, I suppose some people do. This dinner you had at the Hotel Bremen, it was rather expensive, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I did offer to pay, but Mr. Dorn insisted. Of course, he paid with a credit card, and who knows who pays the credit card company?
Yes. Who knows? There seems to be some kind of surcharge on this receipt. Did you know that?
No, I didn't look.
Now, if you and Mr. Dorn were in the hotel dining room, isn't it possible that some of the waiters might have seen you together?
What if they had?
Or perhaps you weren't too worried about that, because you didn't have dinner in the dining room, did you? Well?
I told you that we wanted to have a private conversation.
So that's what this surcharge is. It's for room service, isn't it? You and Mr. Dorn had dinner sent to your room so you could catch up with the news about your family. No more questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Margo.
The witness may step down.
Talk about that bad Penny always turning up. I never thought I'd see her again. And at the worst possible time. Yeah, Mike, there goes our reasonable doubt.
You didn't know? What do you mean you didn't know? How could you not know? Didn't you ask?
Because he didn't tell me. Elliott Dorn kept his mouth shut. He told me he was out with some woman. He didn't tell me her name.
Then how the hell did she get here? Who called her to come downtown?
He called her to come downtown all by himself. He came to me before the afternoon session, and he said that he finally located this woman, and she was on her way to the courthouse.
And it never occurred to you to ask what her name was?
I didn't care what her name was. I was so happy he was finally able to locate her. It didn't seem important to me.
Stupid.
You know,
Stupid.
we were losing this case at that time, and I had to do something. He looked awfully guilty sitting in that witness stand.
He is, for all you know. Don't forget that.
What do you mean he is? He was with her.
You believe that?
She can't
Of course
lie.
you do, yeah.
How can she lie? She had a credit card, remember? Remember that slip? They had dinner together. And I don't know what else they did, which reminds me, I have a dinner tonight. And I gotta get out of here.
Why'd she do it? Why'd she come back? There's got to be a reason. It wasn't just the lousy English weather.
Hey, listen, I'd like to know why she came back, too. You know, that is one beautiful-looking woman.
Well, Elliott still thinks so anyway, doesn't he?
What do you mean, still think so?
You got a dinner date, remember?
Hey, wait.
Go eat.
Boss, look, I wouldn't have done this if it would cause you any trouble personally, you know?
Hell, you wouldn't. You got a case to win, remember?
Yeah, I got a case to win, remember? And I won it.
Yeah, maybe you have. Going home.
You're the one who gave me this case. I didn't want it. What do you want me to do, huh? Lose the case for you? I'll bet that's exactly what you wanted me to do for you.
please, let's be civilized about
Oh,
this.
don't give me those damn B-movie admonitions. Civilized? Is that what you call your behavior?
Look, I simply had to see this woman. She practically twisted my arm.
Oh, I see. I see it took wild horses to drag you into her bedroom.
No, we were not in her bedroom. She has a suite at the Bremen. We were having dinner in the living room. And as she said, all we did was talk. She wanted to know what had happened in Monticello during the time she was gone. And I can assure you there was a lot to talk about.
You're not asking me to be civilized, Elliott. You're asking me to be naive, deaf, dumb, and blind.
Listen, Nola, she has a baby. She asked me what happened to the baby. You know, she left it with April and Draper when she left for London.
Oh, wonderful woman.
Now, they didn't keep it. April Scott herself was pregnant, and Raven's husband kept. She has a husband, you know. He was a district attorney in there.
Yes, I saw how loving they were toward each other. I want to know how loving you were to her.
I wasn't loving to her. All we did was talk. I was acting as her newspaper, her gazette. You see? She wanted me to fill her in, and I told her everything that happened. I told her what happened to myself. I told her I'd left Margo.
Margo left you.
I told her about us. I told her that I had finally found someone true to love.
Oh, God, why? God, Elliott, you're not even good at it anymore. You know, that'd be the worst thing that could happen. If you stop being good at lying.
Listen, Nora, please calm down.
You think I'm a fool. You think I'll stand for anything at all.
No. I know exactly what you are. You're a loving, kind woman. And you're a realist.
Yes, that's very true. I can be a realist when I want to be. I suppose that's what I have to be now.
Does this mean you forgive me, Nola? That you won't hold this momentary lapse against me?
Oh, so that's what you call it.
Well, it wasn't really a lapse. I can assure you I left the premises with my virtue intact.
Oh, how charming.
That's why I didn't want to go in the first place. But you see, there was this veiled threat. Oh, yes. Once Raven had found out that I was engaged to be married, I could just see her cunning little mind working. I could practically hear her thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I went up to Mrs. Nola Madison and had a little chat with her about her future husband?
Well, what could she say to me that I wouldn't like, Elliott? Never mind. Don't tell me. I figured it out for myself. She was the reason Margo threw you out.
Nothing of the kind, Nola.
Oh, please, don't say any more. Look, just promise me something.
Anything.
Promise me that you'll never see that damn bird woman again.
Bird woman? That's funny.
Vulture would be more like it. Far more fitting than Raven. Elliott, promise me. Don't see her. Don't call her. Don't go near her.
A promise is unnecessary, darling.
Not to me.
It's unnecessary to me because I've already made it to myself. The minute I saw her, I realized that the evening spent with Raven Swift was going to be the last. Let's go. Well, I have to admit that she did do me a good service by coming to the court and saving me from that predicament. But don't worry. I won't let my gratitude interfere with my common sense. I'll never see Raven again.
No, my dear. I'm afraid fate has stepped in and put an end to any ideas I might have had about broadcasting fame. No, I haven't heard a word. But who could think about it at a time like this? Margo Dorn is dead, and her son-in-law is on trial for her murder. No, Mrs. Reeves, I do not believe he is guilty. As a matter of fact, I can assure you... Well, yes. People say that one shouldn't discuss politics or religion. In my view, murder trials could go along in that category. Yes, of course. Goodbye, Mrs. Reeves. idiot. My God.
I'm sorry, it's perfect. I can't tell you the fun I'm having watching people's reactions every time they see me.
Raven, what are you doing here? Why aren't you in London?
Well, I was deported. They caught me trying to steal the crown jewels from the Tower of London.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
You know, I can't tell whether people are upset or happy to see me. They just all look shocked, as if I'm some kind of a ghost. I suppose that's what I am in Monticello. Well, how do I look? I don't look any older, do I? You don't, Lord knows. Think I've gained any weight? Actually, I don't see how I could have. The food was horrible. I mean, I took most of my meals at Mother's, but she must have hired the worst chef in the British Empire.
Raven, what is this? What are you doing here? Why in the heaven's name didn't you write?
Well, I wanted to surprise you. And Logan, too. And believe me, I have never seen a more surprised look on a man's face as when I walked into that courtroom.
You went to the trial?
Darling, I was the trial. But it's a long story, and I need something to drink. I'm very thirsty. You know, it's practically impossible to get drunk in England. Their liquor is only 70 proof, and when you ask for a drink, they give you 1 finger high.
I want to know why you're here.
Well, isn't it obvious? Several of my nearest and dearest friends are in terrible trouble. Poor Draper, how could they possibly accuse him of murdering his mother-in-law? Did he do it? Never mind. If he did, she probably deserved it. And April. I mean, she always was a little wisp of a thing. But when I saw her in the courtroom, I mean, she was next to nothing, even though she was... So she's gonna have a baby. It's wonderful. She must be 7 months by now, is that right? Ah, that reminds me. I want to see my son. Where is he?
Raven, I think it's best if you wait until
He
Logan
here?
gets back. Please, don't. He's asleep.
Well, I think we should wake him up to see his mother.
I just can't believe what happened actually happened.
It happened, all right. Raven's back, and she's given Dorn the alibi he needs.
An alibi supported by that credit card receipt.
Mike, couldn't that have been falsified?
Possibly.
Don't you think that it might be possible that there was some kind of collusion between the two
Of
of them?
course, that's a possibility, Nancy. Yeah, Raven and Elliott had been involved once before.
Don't kid yourself. The only person Raven is involved with is the one she stares at in the mirror every day.
Well, I think it's very odd that she was in town for so long and was still able to keep it a secret.
It does seem strange, doesn't it? But then, Raven strikes me as a highly unpredictable young woman.
I'll tell you one thing. All this talk about an innocent relationship is pure nonsense. They had an affair before she went to London, and now that she's back, they've picked it up all over
Wait a
again.
second, wait a second. Isn't it possible that Margo knew that Raven was back?
Yes, it is possible.
And, wait a second. And if Raven tried to get back into Dorn's life, and Margo found out... What am I doing? I'm grasping at straws. I'm trying to blame this crime on somebody, on anybody.
Mike, what's going to happen now?
Well, I can tell you that exactly. First thing in the morning, the prosecution will rest its case.
Then it's our turn.
That's right, April. And we're going to convince that jury that Draper is innocent. Draper and I will convince them together.
But a grown-up little boy. I didn't know little boys grew up so fast, did you, Geraldine?
You never gave yourself much chance to learn anything about your son.
What a sweet little guy. Yeah, and you're very handsome, you know. You look just like your daddy. Don't you think he looks a little bit like Kevin?
Raven, for heaven's sake. You have even less decency than when you left.
Why? What did I say?
I know very well this is Logan's baby, not Kevin's. You needn't preserve that fiction for my sake.
I'm sorry, I forgot. I can't help but think sometimes that he's really Kevin's little boy.
Please, take him back to his bed.
Come on, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's right, and I bet you miss your mommy, don't you? I bet you'll miss your mommy. Look, Jaimey, it's Dada. Yeah, why don't you say hello to Dada? Oh.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm seeing my little son. I haven't seen him in a very long time.
I know very well how long it's been. You put him down right now.
No, don't you listen to Dad, Jaimey. He's being a very bad man. Yes. A very bad man, and he wouldn't hurt a woman who's got a little baby in her arms.
Here, let me take him.
No. I have every right to have him. More right than you if you want to get technical, darling.
Please don't do this. Just for the sake of the child.
I am this child's mother, and we are only legally separated, so I'm still your wife.
You gave up the right to be either one a long time ago.
Well, maybe I'm going to take them both back.